Imagine it. The exact second that referee's whistle blows, 100 million hearts suddenly freeze as one. Today, we are jumping straight into one of the most powerful psychological and cultural phenomenons on the entire planet.
Because we aren't just talking about a simple football tournament in this explainer. We're looking at a moment where everyday life literally vanishes. The usual chaos of a country completely put on hold. Streets that are normally packed suddenly empty out, shops go quiet, and entire offices just freeze as phones ring out, totally ignored.
In these moments, you have millions of hearts beating for one single reason: one team and one shared dream. So how exactly does a simple game of 2 goals and a grass field become the ultimate vessel of hope, history, and human identity? How on earth does a game carry the sheer weight of a nation's struggles and memories on its shoulders?
Part 1. When a nation stops.
To really grasp this phenomenon, we have to look at how a tournament physically hijacks a country. The air literally shifts. Local businesses transform into tactical war rooms. Flags appear on literally every corner, and people ruthlessly ghost their friends to cancel long-standing plans. Suddenly, time zones don't matter at all. Even your neighbor who barely watches sports instantly transforms into a master tactician who suddenly knows every lineup and every controversy.
What's absolutely fascinating here is how football acts as this strange, almost magical superpower. Think about it. In our daily lives, we are defined by division. We're separated by regions, classes, different opinions, diverse backgrounds. But tournament month? It takes those fiercely divided populations and instantly turns them into a single, cheering family, united entirely by 90 minutes of play.
Section 2. The Anatomy of Pride.
You know, we throw the word pride around a lot in sports, but on this specific stage, pride isn't just about winning the trophy. It is about being seen. It's that profound, goosebump-inducing experience of hearing your anthem played in a foreign land and feeling connected to millions of strangers. It's answering that silent question every citizen carries: do we belong among the best, without having to speak a single word?
So this creates a massive shift in the emotional temperature. Club football is incredible, for sure, but it's built on business, transfers, and long, grueling seasons. National teams, on the other hand, carry pure identity. The emotional pressure is immense. A missed chance hurts so much more, and a victory, well, that feels like a national holiday. Because when a player puts on that jersey, they aren't wearing fabric. They're wearing the dreams of millions.
Section 3. Scarcity, drama, and heroes.
So why is the pressure here so much more intense than in literally any other sporting event on Earth? It all comes down to one single number: 4. Because it only happens every 4 years, scarcity makes it sacred. In human psychology, when something is scarce, we naturally value it more. This gap forces people to wait, to plan, and to dream, completely turning a simple tournament into a rare, generational ceremony. And then you add to that scarcity some wildly unscripted drama. The storylines are just beautifully unpredictable. The giant can fall in a single instant. The outsider can rise up and claim historic glory. The underdog unites millions in sheer belief, and the hero becomes an icon forever. You just can never script this. One single strike from 30 yards out can turn a quiet nation into the loudest place on earth and elevate a player to an absolute legend overnight.
All of this builds into what we call generational memory. Because these moments are so incredibly rare and emotionally charged, they transcend the sport entirely. A grandfather remembers a historic final, a father remembers a specific hero's defining goal, and a child learns the tradition. These memories actually become living pieces of national identity, passed down through families like sacred heirlooms.
Section 4. The Ultimate Global Stage.
This brings us to the geopolitical validation the tournament offers, which is especially huge for smaller or historically overlooked nations. Normally, a country might only be discussed in global news in terms of its politics, its economy, or its historical conflicts, but under the World Cup view, the judgment shifts entirely to skill, courage, teamwork, and spirit. It shifts a nation from abstract borders on a map to a living, beating heart.
Your story could change today. In an arena where wealth and military power actually matter so much less than courage and hunger, this fair possibility is deeply moving. It tells historically overlooked populations that their language, their culture, and their children truly matter in the global conversation. It's an emotional validation that says, we're here and we belong in this story too.
And nowhere is this more visible than during the anthem effect. Eyes focus, crowds sing in unison, and cameras pan across to capture trembling faces. There's literally no scene more emotionally charged than this, compressing all that history into one breathtaking moment. Before the whistle even blows, the pitch turns into a stage of identity, where an abstract country becomes a living, breathing fighter ready to defend its pride.
Section 5. Permission to feel.
This right here brings us to what might just be the most intimate, deeply human superpower of this entire phenomenon. Hugging strangers in the street, crying openly in public squares, praying out loud in crowded cafes. In our daily lives, we constantly suppress and endure to survive the daily grind. But for a few weeks, the tournament gives guarded adults the ultimate permission to completely release generations of suppressed emotion. It is a massive collective unburdening.
Plus, today we have this modern multiplier effect. Social platforms and instant global broadcasting exponentially multiply this emotional release. Through memes, instant reactions, and real-time global debates, the pride becomes so much louder. A nation isn't just celebrating internally anymore. Its unbridled joy is being witnessed in real time by the entire planet, magnifying that incredible feeling of being seen.
A nation can come away with more than a trophy. It can come away with identity, confidence, and a new relationship with itself. The true victory of this phenomenon isn't just the confetti falling on the final day. It's the healing of old wounds, it's the shared joy across divided classes, and the profound feeling of being truly alive and respected by the rest of the world.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this thought to ponder. Next time that whistle blows, will you just be watching a game, or will you be witnessing a nation's heartbeat? Because every single time a team steps onto that pitch, you aren't just watching sports. You are watching history, identity, and the human spirit in its purest, most passionate form.